The Economic Freedom Fighters Student Command Council filed papers to challenge the minister's instruction, which is aimed at lessening the burden on the National Student Financial Aid Scheme. For more on the story, we're joined by the EFF Students Command Secretary-General, Muzi Khoza. Muzi, good evening and thank you for your time. It seems to be a win for you today in the court in as far as the admission, the number of students that UNISA can and must take into its university.
Thank you very much for having us here in the studio, and let us take this opportunity to greet the viewers at home and also the fighters who are still on the street in demand for free quality and well-resourced education. What comes as a victory from the court to us reaffirmed what we've been saying, that Minister Nzimande remains one of the foolish and pseudo-communists who stand for nothing but who represent white monopoly capital. But also we want to also take this opportunity to welcome the decision that was taken by the North High Court in ensuring that they grant the Students Command what it's been requesting, to ensure that the 20,000 students who Minister Nzimande wanted them to go home and be victims of drug abuse, suicide, depression, hopelessness, today their future will be brought into the system. And we are saying this victory doesn't only speak to those 20,000 students, but it also speaks to all the students who are still in the street now fighting for free quality education. It shows that their efforts, in fact their tireless efforts, their dedication and their commitment, it does not go to waste, but they are on the right side of history, as history has no blank page. Whatever they are doing now, history is noting them, and we celebrate the victory there. We are saying those 20,000 students must be given what is due to them. They must go and take necessary courses and also be given all equipments for them to access education, as we continue waging the very same fight to other institutions that opt to structurally exclude our black and poor students.
Given this court victory around UNISA, do you have any ideas in terms of launching court action against some of the institutions that you're talking about on the issues that are being raised, whether it's for financial or academic exclusions by those institutions?
Yes, we believe that first, before we go to court, we need to explore some avenues. We wrote to vice chancellors. Some are responding, but we're not satisfied. We wrote back to the vice chancellors to say, can you please kindly allow students to register without being compelled to pay any fees? Because we are living in South Africa where currently there is a pandemic. Our parents lost our jobs, our parents were retrenched, and also some cooperative businesses who used to provide social programs like bursaries and internship, they are struggling now. They can't pay for student fees because there is no business and there's nothing happening to bring about funds. So we are saying to those institutions, kindly assist those students to register without any financial expectation. And also lastly, we are saying those institutions of higher learning must freeze historical debts, because most of the institutions now are compelling students to pay 50% of their historical debts before they can register. We are saying they must at least freeze them for this year and allow those students who are suffering from historical debts to continue registering without those financial impairment. And also we are saying they must also waive the registration fees for this academic year, so that students, at least, they can get an opportunity to register. So we have returned to the vice chancellors, hoping that they will respond and hoping that they will take note from the decision that came out of the court before we can also challenge their decision or interdict them.
What about the fact that universities as institutions are under increasing financial burdens? So sometimes the support that they have been getting from government has not quite kept up with issues such as inflation. It has not kept up with the demands that they have, even though a huge number of them currently are relying on government fund in order to keep them sustainable. So when you say the universities must waive these fees, at the end of the day, they've got bills to pay. Where must this money come from if they themselves don't have it?
All right. In the process of them freezing historical debts and also waiving the registration fees for this academic year, our struggle and also a proposal that we have made to them is that we must work jointly to request the Treasury to increase funding on higher education. And also, we are well aware that last year students were told to go home early in February. Accommodation fees, students, those who expected to pay residencies, the residencies are not running. Students, they paid, NSFAS paid, bursaries paid, and that money is still within the coffers of the institution. And secondly, institution of higher learning, they have what we call a disaster management fund, which I know, as a matter of fact, in the University of Mpumalanga, as a member of council, we have enough money there to ensure that students, according to the enrollment policy that we have adopted, they can register for free through the disaster management fund.
Is that something that is available for all universities, however?
Yes, correct. All institutions, they have disaster management fund. Some, they call it risk funds. So all institutions have that for state of emergencies, like what we're experiencing now.
You are saying that you want the department, the institutions to partner with you in going to the Department of Finance and asking for more money. If we take a look at what the Minister of Higher Education, Nzimande, said today, it doesn't look like Treasury is budging. They're not going to get any more money. They've had to reprioritize certain projects just to be able to meet the requirements by NSFAS.
No, that can't be correct. I think the reprioritization of funds, it reaffirms the incompetence of Minister Nzimande. So finance can be able to be in a position to give more funds to the higher education department. But because Nzimande does not substantiate, does not bring any cogent arguments for Department of Higher Education to be given enough budget, that's why they just went for austerity, because it shows that he's incompetent and he can't run his department.
Do you think that the finance minister, if you as students wrote a letter to him, would respond differently to what he has in his budget?
We believe that through our own superior logic and science that will apply, and also to give him alternatives to bring about a solution on this matter, yes, indeed, you will respond positively.
What are the alternatives? What are the alternatives?
Alternatively, to try and boost the institution of higher learning, you will note that we propose as the Students' Command that cooperative wells, they should be taxed, what we call education tax. So each and every corporate must be at least be given a minimum percentage that will be taxed and be taken to Treasury to fund education. And in all tax, we must now enter a stage where we put the education tax, so that in each and every product that goes out, at least there's a percentage that goes to education budget.
Are students going to be united on this issue?
We can't speak on behalf of other issues, but our position is clear. We're not going to unite with PYA. We're not going to unite with any ANC-affiliated organization, because history taught us a harsh lesson. In 2015, during Fees Must Fall, we got the intelligence now that the struggle was diluted by the lunatics or the minions of ANC, SASCO, or PYA. So we are releasing a formal media communicate to our branches that wherever there is a shutdown, they must never hold hands with SASCO or PYA. Simple because we believe that SASCO has power. PYA, SASCO, and YCL, they have powers to deliver free education because it's their own government, it's their own administration. So why do they want to come and pretend like they are fighting while they know deep down their mind that they are on the very same bed with the same blade in Nzimande, they are on the very same bed with Cyril Ramaphosa. So we can't be played here. Black students shouldn't be played by what PYA is doing. They are doing absolutely nothing. That's why when we went to court to fight for the 20,000 first entering students, where were they? They were not there. Because Minister Blade Nzimande or the very same government told them to step aside. So we fought this alone, and as we claim it alone as the Students' Command. So we are saying, if they fail to fight for those UNISA students, what more can they fight for? Absolutely nothing. That will be the answer.
All right. That was the EFF's Student Command Secretary-General, Muzi Khoza, speaking.